So, as we embark on the wonders of the holiday Yuletide and whatnot, um, Yvonne proves she loved me. I got a Rogue One book here. It has 3 movie posters in it. As well, my mother. This Star Wars year by year. There are many videos to be made about Star Wars now regarding this book, which goes from the very beginnings right through until now. I'm excited to get through this book. This is going to be a lot of fun. But um, it's funny because I was going to do a hockey video, and then there's something I saw from Red Letter Media, so I figured, you know what? And I know my TV's on, but that's because Doctor Who's coming up in 25 minutes, and I cannot miss it. So I need the TV on to remind me, hey, time is a wasting. But let me move this so it's more in the center. Stop. Okay. So Rogue One. Now I did a review of Rogue One last week when I went and saw it, and got the standard number of views on this channel. This channel is not the big money maker for me, but that's not what it's for. It's for, me sharing my views on TV and movies, and if people want to subscribe, great. So you're just browsing through, like and subscribe. It's your friend. I'm happy. Thank you. And if not, that's fine too. Just, if you want to watch, you can watch. And I want to talk a little bit about Rogue One. So I hear a complaint being leveled that there's no likable or memorable characters in Rogue One. Now, there's spoilers in here. So I'm throwing this up right now. There are spoilers in here. There are no spoilers in the review. There will be spoilers here. Because in order for me to talk about why certain characters are memorable, I need to get into plot lines. The fact that all of the characters that are introduced, spoilers, big red letters. The fact that all of the characters that get introduced die is troubling somewhat. When I was in the theater and I realized that they were all going to die, I was actually a little bit upset. Now, if I didn't care about the characters, I wouldn't have been upset. I went into this movie, like other people my age, with, yeah, so this is about how they steal the Death Star plans. We know they get them, so we don't care. I had that in the back of my mind. But I thought, no, I'm going to give this a shot. And I did, and I didn't regret it. Rogue One is a movie that you didn't need to make. You didn't. But at least they made it memorable. The only character I could have done without is Forrest Whitaker. I honestly, his character in this movie is so useless and pointless. You could have had a droid in his place. And the way he dies is so stupid. I'm tired of running. You say that when you're going out in a blaze of glory, not when you're about to just die. I'm just going to stand still. So when Red Letter Media said that death was stupid and made no sense, they're absolutely right. That death made no sense. It's like, so he just, I'm tired of running. You say that when you're going to fight, not when you're just going to die. There were plenty of things he could have done for the rebellion. He wasn't dying. There are plenty of things he could have done for the rebellion. He could have been a backup for Jyn. And I was like, wow, what a coward. What an absolute coward. He dies a coward's death. I was thrown off a little bit by... Magazines are back here. Gimme. Let's go through the characters. Because I am kind of baffled by the idea that the characters are not memorable. And if anybody's going to come down to me and say, well, you didn't remember the name, it's not about the name. It's not. Krennic. Krennic and Jyn are the main stars of this movie. It's their movie. He's an amazing villain. Krennic is... He reminds me a lot of Grand Admiral Thrawn. He does. Just in the way that he was written and his appearance and whatnot. He's not blue, but he reminds me of him. Okay. Luna, his character's name. Behind the scenes. No. There we go. Here we are. It's right next to one of the big posters that's in here. Cassian. Captain Cassian. I didn't like him. But it's not that I didn't like him because I didn't like the character. It was at the start he shoots somebody. Now, if you're watching this and you get why he shot that guy, let me know in the comments, because to this day I don't understand it. The guy's with the rebellion, isn't he? Was he shot because he knew too much? Was he shot because he was going to hold Cassian back? Was it like, I don't understand, because I was expecting Cassian the rest of the movie to be a double agent. I was waiting for him to turn against the rebellion, and then when you see him on Yavin, I'm like, well, he can't turn on the rebellion because he knows where the base is. So I was baffled. Yeah, Saw Gerrera is Forrest Whitaker's character. I could have done without him completely. Zhang Wen plays Baze Malbus. Malbus is the badass with all the guns, and he's fantastic. I really liked Malbus quite a bit. I was actually upset when he died. When I realized he was going to die, I was like, "Oh my God, no, no!" We just went through that emotional death of his best friend in the world, and he's saying, "I am one with the Force. The Force is one with me. I'm one with the Force. The Force is one with me," which is a fantastic phrase, fantastic addition to the movie franchise. But his character was just great, and I hadn't expected anything from him. I noticed in the trailer, I was like, oh, he looks like an older version of Shinsuke Nakamura. I didn't see anything else there, and he was fantastic. I was actually quite impressed. Genevieve O'Reilly plays Mon Mothma. I didn't think Mon Mothma belonged. I guess she had scenes in Revenge of the Sith that got cut out. I was reading about that in here, actually, in this magazine, and that makes more sense then. But in general, I'm not a huge fan of Mon Mothma. I get that she's, a woman that's leading the rebellion, but Mads Mikkelsen as Galen Erso. Galen is the dad. I like the dad a lot. I thought there was some complicated sides to the dad. I thought the decision he made at the start of the movie to work with the Empire, because he had two choices: work with the Empire or work with the Empire. They weren't asking. So he might as well have left and made sure that Jyn was safe before he left. Valerie Kane plays Lyra Erso. I wanted to see more of this character. I really did. The mother, to me, had a lot of strength, more than the dad. I thought the mother had more strength to her than the dad, and I thought there were some very good moments in the brief time that the two of them were together on the screen, and I wanted more. It left me wanting more. So I was actually kind of upset by that. Jimmy Smits is Bail Organa. He's just there. Bail Organa's there because he has to be. You have to bridge to Star Wars from Revenge of the Sith. He's the one guy that is within the Empire, and yet he's working with the Rebellion. He's a double agent. So that made sense. Ben Mendelsohn as Orson Krennic. And Krennic is one of my favorite bad guys ever. He is fantastic and evil, and I find it an actual shame that we won't be seeing more of Krennic. I hope that since they're doing the young Han Solo and they're doing a Boba Fett movie, I'm hoping that it's set in that same timeline. There's already rumors Jyn Erso may show up in the Han Solo movie, which I hope happens. I think it'd be great if she was in there. And then I'd like to see Krennic in there as well. Hopefully he gets a role in that. Alan Tudyk played the voice of K2SO. I loved K2SO. K2SO was amazing. And that moment in the movie where she shoots a robot that looks a lot like K2SO, basically identical. And she's like, and then K2SO looks at her and goes, "You knew that wasn't me, right?" She goes, "Yeah." Perfect. Fantastic. Good laugh. One thing Red Letter Media, which kind of annoyed me, was they were talking about, oh, there's X-Wings in the Death Star, and then they're doing like fake clapping, like, oh, I remember like member berries. This movie didn't feel like that to me. This movie is set at the point where Star Wars starts. This is actually at the starting point of New Hope. So, of course, it's going to have the same ships. Of course, it's going to have stormtroopers that dress the same and talk the same. Of course, it's going to have the Death Star. Of course, it's going to have Star Destroyers. Of course, you're going to have Vader and Tarkin. If you went into this movie expecting something that broke all kinds of new ground, you're crazy. What Disney's doing right now is they're refreshing the franchise. That movie's 40 years old in a couple weeks here. We're looking at a 40-year-old movie in Star Wars. It needs to be refreshed. I'm as big a fanboy as anybody else. It desperately needs to be refreshed and revamped because it's dying. So in what happened with Force Awakens last year and now this movie this year, they are refreshing the universe. They're putting new actors in roles that they can use again because you can go back in time, forward in time. You can go sideways. You can do whatever you want to do. You need young actors. Harrison Ford's old. Carrie Fisher, her health isn't great right now at the time that I'm recording this. I like everybody else. I want to see her in episode 8, episode 9. I want to see her live to be 150. But you need young actors in roles that you can use again later. As Carrie Fisher, Mark Hamill, and not so much Harrison Ford, but still Harrison Ford, youngish at the time that the original trilogy came out. These were all young actors. So the idea that they're refreshing the franchise with young actors doesn't bother me. Chirrut Imwe was played by Donnie Yen, the blind guy. So the blind, not Jedi Master, but kind of looked like a Jedi Master. Really, really liked him, and I really liked the idea of Jedha, which sounds a lot like Jedi. The idea that he is one of the protectors of the Jedi secrets of the Jedi Order, and I really think they're going to get into that. You don't bring up kyber crystals in this movie and then not bring them up again in subsequent movies. So I really think Star Wars is starting to get into the kyber crystals. It's going to start getting into the Sith holocrons, the Jedi holocrons. They've done it in Star Wars Rebels. If you haven't been watching Star Wars Rebels, you're really missing out. Season 2 is fantastic. Season 3's been fantastic. Star Wars Rebels has it. Disney knows what they're doing here. They're bringing in all of the lore from the expanded universe, which was fine. Yeah, they're catering to fanboys. Who else are they going to cater to? I really honestly don't understand the hate that gets thrown at Disney because they cater to fanboys. Yeah, they're catering to the people that are going to give them money. Sort of like, I talk about hockey. The NHL caters to hockey fans. That's what you're supposed to do. Like these movies make a lot of money. You cater to the people who are paying a lot of money to watch them because that's how you make a lot more money. Disney isn't in this for fun. Disney's in this to make money. It's a business. So I don't have a problem with it. All right, now that I'm off that soapbox, Riz Ahmed played Bodhi Rook. Really liked him. He was the pilot that defected from the Empire. Really liked his character. I really, really wish we could have seen more of him. It was fantastic. So those are all the characters, the main characters. I don't understand why anybody would say, well, there's no new characters added in Rogue One. There's no likable characters, no memorable characters. I like all those characters. I'm going to see that movie a lot of times. I won't watch as much as Force Awakens. Force Awakens really brought new lore, and it's after Jedi, and there's something new to it. This movie is familiar. It's supposed to be familiar. It's from the same time as New Hope takes place. But it was fun. And it's funny, I find myself moving further away from the Star Wars fans that are critical of everything new. And there are Star Wars fans that will criticize anything new from Star Wars. If it's not the original trilogy, it sucks. And I get it. The prequels were bad. Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, and Revenge of the Sith, all three of them are unwatchable for me now. I can't watch any of them. I find them awful. But I enjoyed Force Awakens. I still enjoy Force Awakens. I've watched it at least a dozen times. I really enjoyed Rogue One. And are there problems with them? Yep. Guess what? There's problems with the original trilogy too. There were moments in this movie I really liked. When you see the Imperial Walkers in the battle on Rogue One, you get this impression from the Rebels they've never seen these things before. I thought that was really kind of cool. that you get the impression this is the first time they've been used in battle. And just the beach setting, everything about it was really, really well done. I was really, really kind of surprised. And the fact that the Death Star was only blowing up a city at a time, and it was such the destruction looked slow motion from orbit, and it was just so complete and devastating and terrifying. And it's funny how the Death Star blowing up a city was more terrifying than the Death Star blowing up planets in either Star Wars or when it was blowing up ships in Return of the Jedi. There's just something really menacing about precision strikes with such a massive weapon. And when the Death Star blocks out the moon or the sun in the sky, yeah, it's the sun in the sky it blocks out. I mean, that's terrifying. And it slowly turns to face its target. Um, one of my biggest problems with New Hope, one of the reasons I have a hard time with New Hope now is this: they arrive at Yavin, right? They've gone at the speed of light to get to Yavin, and then they go into orbit around the planet, and they're waiting what 5 minutes? Movie time is about 15 minutes after they arrive at Yavin before they're in firing range of oh, we've cleared the planet. Robot Chicken even did a thing on that where the Empire gets there and they go, yeah, I don't think so. And they blow up Yavin first, and then they blow up the moon, and the rebellion is destroyed. That's absolutely what you would do. That is absolutely what the Empire would do. The idea they go into orbit around the planet very slowly. No, you've got engines in this bloody thing. I don't know how. I don't know where all the I don't know where the engines are. You never see an engine on it. But you've got engines in this thing that apparently goes at the speed of light. So just wrap that sucker around the planet, come out across the moon, boom, you blow the whole thing up. Drives me nuts watching New Hope now. Because it's like, oh, and then they got to run down the trench. Why? They know where the port is. They don't need to run down the trench. Just come straight in at it. Why are you coming in at this angle when you can look right down the trench and look right down that son of a bitch's throat and just fire a torpedo down it? So see, you can tear apart the original trilogy just as easy as a person tears apart the new movies now. But we used to watch Star Wars and enjoy it. And now there's people who just can't. And it's too bad because they're missing out on, I think, they're missing out on some good stuff. Anyways, let me know what you think in the comments. Happy holidays to all. This is being taped on Christmas. And I hope everybody's had a good day and that the rest of the holidays are good to them as well. And yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below about my comments regarding Rogue One and the apparent issues people have with it. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're just browsing through. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you all again soon.